Queen Elizabeth II na namuno sa loob ng 7 dekada. Pumanaw sa edad na 76.
Wala kayong mahanap na scoring na choir naman ng kumanta.
Choir po yun, sir.
Hindi choir yun.
Parang crowd.
Mga nanay na crowd.
Okay.
Oo. Pero may mga professional na gano'n.
Oo.
O nga pala, ba't ka nandito mo eh?
Nadismaya ako, sir eh.
Na?
Nag-tweet ako kagabi, sir. Nanood ako ng 2 movie.
The Crown?
Hindi, sir eh. Tampas Langit.
Nak!
Tsaka,
Viva Max!
Viva Max, sir.
So bakit? Ano meron?
Kala ko may gas tayo, sir eh.
Ngayong gabi dapat yung Viva Max mo.
Oo.
Wala eh.
So nag-research ka kagabi.
Oo, sir.
Hindi matutuloy?
Wala, sir.
Talaga namang in the interest of journalism, no?
Uwi tayo!
Tara na.
Uwi tayo!
Nagtayo.
Wala eh.
Hindi, alam ko, itong araw na to, siguro, sa mga sumusunod sa balita, umaga pa lang,
Madaling araw,
maraming napanood ng mga ulat. At siguro, paglalahad ng kasaysayan, tukol kay Queen Elizabeth II. Opo. Okay, ito po ang programang Wag Po. Maya-maya nga po ay, alam ko masama ang loob mo, Moe, pero ganun talaga ang buhay.
Si Chester po nagsabi sa akin eh. Alas 3 ng madaling araw.
Sino?
Chester.
Na hindi natuloy yung mga Viva Max.
So yung taga-unang concern yun, no?
Nanonood ako kagabi ng movie. Sabi ay, pwede bang wag sumawa ang loob natin? Walang Viva Max bukas. Kaya hindi ko natuloy yung story, yung movie.
Hindi mo tinapos?
Tinapos? Sayang!
Sabi next week.
Akala ko ba nagpuyat ka?
2 movie pa lang eh.
Lang, ha?
Lang.
Napakahirap talaga ng iyong trabaho. Sa pamilya ni Moe, napakasipag po ng inyong anay ng tahanan. Ito po ang programang Wag Po. Ano yun?
Ano yun nandun? Parang medyo bas.
Parang Arabic yung
Oo,
script.
Arabic eh.
Ang programang Wag Po po, na makakasama niyo po hanggang alas 10 ng gabi para himayin po ang mga paksang hindi nakakaapekto sa buhay ni Moe. Kala mo lang, may epekto, Moe. Pero meron yan. Ang mundo ngayon parang isang malaking sapot, no?
Teka, yung assessment mo.
May mga ilang sindo na hindi na kailangan sa movie. Kasi
Aba.
tatayo naman yung movie.
Yung mga sex scene.
Wow, ha?
Hindi
mga
Britanya ito pinag-uusapan
Hindi,
natin.
sir.
Okay.
Viva Max to May mga kwento, may mga scene na excerpt na, ewan ko, ba't sinasama pa ng, hindi naman.
Parang pampahaba.
Di rin eh.
Hindi pang pagigil din. Hindi pang excite.
Halimbawa nung sa Bula, may isang sindo na sumakay yung bida ang babae sa jeep, tapos makikita mo sa loob ng jeep, nakamaskara yung mga tao ng mga underwear, tapos merong nakasabit na underwear sa jeep, tapos
Hindi ba pwede parang
Wala
dream
namang
sequence yun?
Oo.
hindi sir, wala sa ano
O baka
Kahit
symbolic
ang
siya.
Kasi
metaphor
bakit
siya eh.
nakamaskara yung mga tao sa jeep?
Pero ang
Kailan ko
maskara
huli
niya
sumakay na
naka-
nakamaskara yun?
Hindi sir, ang maskara niya underwear. So, dapat, ewan ko na, hindi,
Ano ang maaring, ika nga sa panitikan ang maaring mag-suspend ng iyong disbelief?
wala naman sir. Siguro sir, based on reality na lang sana.
Kung based on reality, tingin mo yung buong plot nun na isang...
40% probably.
Talagang
Pwede nang-
nag-evaluate talaga siya.
Pwede nang movie clip.
Tinatawagan ko si Roland Tolentino ng manunuri, no? Manunuri ng pelikulang Pilipino at lahat ng profesor po na nagtuturo po ng film studies. Kunin niyo na po ito. Specialty niya, Viva Max. Pero Viva Regina. Ika nga. Ganda ng transition ko.
Oo, Viva Regina.
Viva Regina. Sa Tagalog, Moe.
Mabuhay.
Nabuhay.
Ang reyna.
Yan. Okay, after 70 years, pumanaw na po si Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, ano man ang paniniwala mo about the British monarchy, naging bahagi po siya ng kasaysayan. Isipin mo, no?
7 dekada.
7 dekada. 15 prime ministers kasama tong bago. Oo, si Listros.
Kasi siya nang-appoint. Bago siya namatay, in-appoint na si Listas.
Ina-appoint ba ang prime minister?
Na-appoint niya. Siya nang-appoint.
But officially they appoint, pero they're elected.
Elected. Ng
by
partido.
parliament.
Ng partido. Oo.
So parang ano lang yun?
Ceremonial.
Assent.
Ministerial. Ministerial. Oo.
Ayan. Alam naman natin na wala talagang tunay na kapangyarihan ng reyna.
yun.
Parlamento ang gumagawa ang mga desisyon.
Pero head of state siya.
Head of state.
Oo.
Head of state at merong assent na tinatawag ang lahat ng kanyang mga parang essentially rubber stamp of importance.
Oo, may moral ascendancy.
No, pero matagal lang huling ginamit, matagal lang hindi nagkaroon ng dissent, ika. Okay, ito po ang programang napaka-royal talaga sa inyong mga puso. Okay, ito po ang programang Wag Po na napapanood po sa Signal TV Channel 1 sa bayan narinig sa Radyo 5 na dito po News FM. Sayang kung sa radyo kayo nahihinig kasi hindi nyo nakita yung gandang lalaki po. Nakatabi ko, ang nag-iisang Pulitzer Prize winner for international reporting mula po sa Thomson Reuters. Yan, no?
Evening po kay Aling Minerva at kay Aling Crescencia.
Siya po, mga kapatid, ang prinsipe na may Pulitzer Prize, si Tito Manny Mogato.
Ba't parang walang ano?
Walang ano.
Yun! Nabitin ako doon yun.
Yun.
Oh,
Kay Aling Minerva.
ayun.
Ayan.
Hindi nabubuo ang gabi
Alright,
natin.
ang pinakadulo po mga kapatid, ayaw niya sabihin na isa siya sa the men who matter.
Yan.
O sabihin lang natin siya po ang isa sa mga prinsipe ng programang The Chiefs na makapanood niyo po maya-maya lamang kasi alam niyo, iiwan niya po kami dito. Sorry! Na parang
Cinderella.
parang si David na iniwan ang trono ng Britanya para kay Wallis Simpson. Ganun ang mangyayari mamaya. Sa ngalan ng pag-ibig, iniwan ang pagliglingkod at serbisyo.
Si Edward VIII.
Edward VIII. Kasama po natin si Edward Lingao.
Edward.
Eduardo pala. Bok, gandang gabi sa'yo.
Magandang gabi.
Oo. Anong ano mo rito? Ikaw ba nakita mo na in person ang
Reyna?
Reyna?
Hindi.
Hindi.
Hindi nagpapa-interview yun eh.
Hindi mo kailangan interviewin eh. I mean, nakita mo sa mga functions.
Ay, hindi.
Ikaw, sinong royalty nakita mo? Any member of the British royal family?
Si Melda.
Nakatiara
Pero si
din.
Imelda, bida ro sa The Crown.
Oo.
Hindi naman.
Hindi siya
Binanggit
bida.
lang, binanggit lang.
Binanggit siya.
Ano yan? Seashells. Yari kayo. Oo, ito-troll kayo bigla.
Bigla.
Oo,
Really?
ito-troll.
Bigla.
Last year pa ata yun. Oo. Si Helena Bonham Carter. Yan, dito troll yan. Ako nakita ko na si Princess Anne nung pumunta dito nung 90s. Oo.
Pati si Charles. Punta rin.
Yumate sa tama, pumunta siya. Galing siyang, saan siya galing nun? Parang sa stops ito ni Prince Charles. Okay, andito na yata yung panauhin natin, ano? Para bigyan po ng seryoso, no? Seryosong
Usapin.
opo, na dimensyon itong usapang ito. Ano nga ba ang mangyayari? Halimbawa, sa tinatawag nating Commonwealth na tinatawag. Hindi po, pag sinabing Commonwealth, hindi ito yung matraffic lagi at marami na aksidente. Ang Commonwealth of Nations, ika nga, no? 54 as of last count.
Pero si Queen Elizabeth, head of state lang ng 14.
Oo, at yung iba rin na nagdadalo ang iisip-isip pa.
Oo, lalo yung mga Caribbean, gusto nang itapon yung monarchy.
Itapon talaga.
Oo.
Ayan. Pero okay,
Sarap ng tao nila.
sarap ng tawa nila ron. Oo. Okay, mga yotits. Ano nga ba ang in store sa Britanya, sa ilalim? Maninibago
King
pa tayo,
Charles.
no? King Charles.
King Charles III.
King Charles III. Marami nagkakamali kanina kahit sa BBC, CNN. Ang puro sila Prince Charles ang Prince Charles. Tagal
King
nga
Charles.
naman.
Nakasanayan eh. He's 74.
Po.
Si Queen Elizabeth, number 40 na monarch since William the Conqueror.
Yup.
Sana ang sunod na hari, si William din. Yung anak ni Prince Charles.
Hindi naman pwedeng laktawan yun.
Hindi mag-abdicate.
Buong buhay niya.
Ito rin, ang abdication ba, halimbawa, ang abdication ba ay isang senyales na iniiwan mo na ang iyong responsibilidad? Kasi di ba marami nagtatanong na, si Queen naman, bakit hindi lang pagbigyan, magparaya sa kanyang anak para makapagpahinga na siya?
Ayaw
Ano ba itong mga simbolismo ng mga bagay na to?
Tanong natin sa ating guest.
Opo, siya po yung direktor ng Ateneo de Manila European Studies Department. Kasama po natin si Manuel Enverga III.
Yeah.
Professor, magandang gabi po.
Professor,
Welcome po
good
sa
evening.
amin.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Professor.
Yan, Enverga.
Thank you.
Opo. Sir, salamat po sa oras po ninyo, sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Medyo mga jologs kami, ha?
Opo, no?
It's okay po. I'll try to, if it's okay, I'll speak in Taglish.
Wala.
Ayos yan, sir. Okay. Sinasabi nila na maraming mga spekulasyon na kung titingnan mo raw paano maging, what kind of a king Charles would be kung titingnan mo yung kanyang background o yung mga past niya na sabihin natin may iba questionable. Halimbawa, sa mga charities, iba raw si Bin Laden ang nagpa-fund, may ganung angulo. Yung iba naman, meron involved siya dito sa parang leak, na-leak daw ng mga memos na parang nakikialam pala siya sa lobbying, sa parlamento.
Tsaka marami siyang ideya at kuro-kuro mula sa climate change hanggang sa architecture.
Oo, okay naman kasi safe yun, Pero, Professor Enverga, yung isa dyan, yung may sinusuportahan daw sa NGO na medyo questionable yung scientific basis, mga ganyan. Ano po ba ang take po ninyo rito, sir?
Actually, I have a feeling he's gonna have a hard time being accepted because of that. So on the one hand, he has the best preparation, the longest preparation of any monarch ever, because he was waiting for such a long time. So he has a lot of practice, and he knows what to do. So he's been able to practice what the Queen did before she passed away. But also there's the background that you mentioned. So on the one hand, he has a lot of practice. Also, he has a lot of charities. He's an environmental prince now, maybe the environmental king. But the issue of being king of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is you have to unite the people, and that's hard because you have to bring together even the people who remember the controversies that you have, such as the leaked documents about favoring candidates in parliament, but also, of course, the issue with Princess Diana and the divorce. And that's going to be a problem because he's going to be the head of the Church of England. So, of course, he has to be a role model, but can you be a role model if you've been divorced?
Pero Prof, through the centuries din naman, yung royalty, they've never been bereft of controversy or scandal. Di ba?
It's true.
Looking at King Charles, baka nga he's not exactly the most controversial or scandalous in British royalty history.
That's true.
Although, yun nga lang kasi, a lot of people, I suppose in this era of social media, people talaga have become more outspoken and have become much more opinionated about institutions that before were talagang held in high regard and were kumaga hindi matitibag ng skandalo.
Yeah, it's true. So social media is the challenge, and maintaining his image is the challenge for King Charles III. So it's also because of that. But correct, he's not the most controversial. Of course, there's more. King Charles the First and King Charles the Second are more controversial. So unfortunately, King Charles the Third, hopefully not so controversial.
Yun lang, walang social media noong 1600s eh.
Yeah.
Di mas controversial si Henry VIII.
O the 8, dami pinatay.
Oh,
Daming asawa.
Iba pa yun.
Walo lang eh.
Oo.
Ikaw naman.
8 nga eh.
Marami akong kilala, mas marami pa dyan. Oo. Oh, anyway, Professor Edberga, noon pa lang din naman, even sa England, may mga nananawagan for the abolition of the monarchy. Kung tutusin mo yung stipend na ginagastos sa taxpayers' money ay medyo, it's not a paltry sum, ika nga.
And I think at this point, they're one of the richest people in
Correct.
terms of assets, di ba?
Si
Yung
si
property.
Queen.
Oo,
Property
properties.
niya, mga
Yeah.
They own the
Immense
land.
amounts.
So,
Okay, sa tingin mo itong alam natin na essentially siguro lalo na pag sa Pinoy itong live in 10 days or 9 days itong funeral would probably elicit sympathy from many people, pero dadating siguro sa punto na tingin mo, Professor Enverga, na magkakaroon ng renewed calls for the abolition of the monarchy?
For the abolition.
Or kung
That's
ano-
a good question, actually. It depends on the performance of King Charles III, but also, based on the most recent polls, only 20% of British people support abolition of the monarchy. So there's still a lot of support for the monarchy, the king or the queen. And also, they're even if they're some of the richest, and they use taxpayers' money. They say there's some studies that show na they also bring in a lot of money in terms of tourism. because,
Tourism daw.
Oo, talaga. I can imagine.
kasi ang daming tao pupunta sa
Exactly.
Buckingham Palace para tignan si Queen.
Ito parang carnival attraction.
Exactly. Or to watch the guards outside.
Oo nga. Oo.
Pero, Professor, di ba yung sa ibang bansa, malayo sa Inglaterra, ayaw na nila nung hari tsaka reyna.
True. That's true. I think that's also because, well, it especially for the Caribbean, it's Caribbean countries remember the history of colonialism and slavery. That was not a very good experience for them. So yes, in some Commonwealth countries, we talked about the Commonwealth a while ago, they don't want to retain the monarchy, but other countries, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, they're still okay with it. So it depends on the country, I think. So at least in some countries, the monarchy might go away and they'll become full republic, but in some other countries, maybe they'll keep it.
Prof, in other European countries, they still have royalty, pero
Yeah.
mukhang nagbago yung kanilang idea kung ano yung papel ng royalty at kung gaano ka-importante royalty. For example, I don't know, I suppose Belgium is one example, diba? At turn of the century, grabe yung power ng Belgian king eh.
Yeah.
Now parang they're just
Ordinary.
celebrities lang.
Yeah.
But they're not at the same level of celebrity as the British monarchy.
Yeah, true.
Ano yung pinagsanga? Saan sila nagkaiba?
Actually, there's a number of differences. So one has to do with sort of the culture of the country. So places like Sweden also have a king, right? So Sweden, Norway, and one of the differences is that in the UK they have the monarch is supposed to appear majestic. That's the saying, right? So they're the majesty where
The majesty.
they're above you, but they're also reachable. That's the concept of the monarchy in the UK. But in other countries, the monarchy is much more reachable, not so majestic. There's even a saying, I think, in Norway where they say that the king, I forget if it's a king or a queen, but the king or the queen works in the palace but lives in another house. So it's just a job. They inherited the job, but they're normal people. So that's the idea. And it's a different feeling. But one of the things that I think is important also is that in Europe, they have this tradition. They separate the executive, the head of state, versus the head of government. So here in the Philippines, it's together. There's a head of state and head of government is in the president. The president represents the country, but also runs the government. In Europe, they actually separate that. So there's one to sort of unite the country, to be the symbol of the country, to represent what is good about the country, and then another one who runs the government. And I think it's worth discussing then that when you separate them, you at least have a symbol that is clean and the unity of the country is preserved, even if what the government is doing is wrong. That's very hard here in a presidential system like ours, where it's together. So if the president does something wrong, the unity of the country is also attacked, or it's also destroyed. So I think it's another advantage of why they maintain their monarchies there.
Parang,
Steve,
parang yung monarchy is the glue that,
That holds the
Yeah,
culture
holds
together.
Oo. Pero, Prof, di ba sa Monaco, parang parehas din ang symbolism ng British monarchy, no? Napakataas din ng pagrespeto ng mga tao sa Monaco.
Okay, Professor Inverga, yung sinasabi nila na isa raw sa mga nagpa-endear talaga sa British public, at least in World War II, was the fact that this family, no, yung mga parents nila ni Elizabeth, did not abandon the British people during World War II. In fact, kahit yung binobomba ni Buckingham Palace, ando lang sila. At si Queen Elizabeth daw, nag-volunteer pa as mechanic and truck driver.
True.
Okay, so yung endearment nila, lalong-lalo na itong queen na to the public, malamang extension ito noong nung episode na yon. Pero okay, kung paniniwalaan natin kunyari certain television series programs,
Tago natin sa pangalang The Crown.
parang hindi yata mapatawad daw ng pamilyang ito yung kanilang Uncle David na pinagpalit ang trono sa ngalan ng pag-ibig.
Pag-ibig yun eh. Oo.
Okay.
Maski na divorce.
Bukod pa ron, parang ang angst nitong mga turaw ay parang, wow, grabing trabaho ang binagsak mo sa amin. Ganun ba talaga kahirap na hindi natin alam ang trabaho ng mga royal family members?
I think simple answer. It's a complicated question, but I think the simple answer is yes. Because if you think about it, from the moment you're born, there's already cameras and people watching you. So it's like you're born, but you have no privacy. So you get wealth, you get prestige, you become famous. Where the trade is, you don't have any privacy. If you make a mistake, it's a big mistake, and people will judge you on that, because really you're the symbol. You have to symbolize. You have to be the role model of your country, and that's why I think also Queen Elizabeth was so famous, or she was admired because she was able to endure 70 years of that. And actually, it's more because she was already on camera. She was already being photographed when she was a baby. She was already in the news when she was a princess, before she became queen, and then she became queen at 25. So I think it's hard. And the other thing also, if you listen to the interviews of other people meeting the queen. So for example, the most powerful heads of state in the world, when they meet the queen, they actually they feel intimidated around her, and the skill of the queen is to make everybody feel comfortable, and also to make it look like she always has poise. So there are incidents where other people would either run away or look embarrassed or look tired, but she always has that poise, and I think that's one of the reasons they admire her, and she kept doing it for so long. So I think in a way, yes. So of course everything is given to you. You have a lot of you wear nice clothes, everyone bows to you, but in exchange you have no privacy. You can't do what you want also. So one of the reasons na her uncle, former King Edward, had to abdicate was because it's controversial. He was too scandalous to. I mean, he was going to be just like King Charles III. He was going to be the head of the
Church of England.
Anglican Church, the Church of England. Imagine the head of the Church of England in a very scandalous position. He marries an American who was twice divorced. Yeah, and of course a commoner. So
Tsaka si Queen Elizabeth, may sense of humor.
yes.
Oo.
Mga lakas ang sense of humor.
O, di ba sumasakay sa mga James Bond na mga
James Bond.
nasa Paddington?
Merong isang episode na nasa Balmoral Castle siya. Dalakad-lakad siya, no? Tapos may dalawang Amerikanong turista lumapit. Tapos, kinausap siya. Saan po kayo nakatira? Sabi, dyan lang. Oo. Malapit sa sa Balmoral Castle. Yung Queen ba nakikita nyo? Ay, hindi po. Pero yung kasama ko, yung kanyang bodyguard, he sees the Queen regularly. Tapos nagpakuha pa ng
Ito ba yung inabutan siya ng camera?
Oo, inabutan ng camera.
narinig ko yan.
Inabutan ng camera sa Queen. Nagpa-selfie yung turista sa bodyguard
Sa bodyguard.
Oo.
Tapos hindi nila sinasabi pareho.
Oo.
Aantayin na lang daw na ma-develop yung mga pictures.
Yun, oo.
Para ang ganda ng kwento.
Ganda ng kwento na yun. Oo.
Oo.
Actually.
Pero okay, siguro sa mga nanonood, Professor Enverga, pakipaliwanag naman po kung wala naman talagang walang actual na kapangyarihan ang reyna noon. At halos bihira siya mag-issue ng mga statements na sabihin natin na may political weight except for certain cases like yung apartheid sa South Africa. No? Paano maging stabilizing force ang isang taong in essence ay parang symbolic rubber stamp lamang?
Yeah, true. Good question. And actually, that has to do with British culture and British society. But in a way, it's because I think we go back to something I discussed a while ago, which is you have the governing part of the government and the symbolic part of the government. She has symbolic power. In academic terms, she has soft power.
Soft power.
She can influence people, and she influences people by showing that the nation is strong and that as long as symbols are strong, is one of the symbols, then the country will be okay. Going back to history, you mentioned in the Second World War she was a driver. I forgot what vehicle, jeep driver or truck driver.
Lorry.
Yeah, so it's that the same sort of thing, right? They will not leave. They are symbols of stability. So as long as they're there and they're okay, the country will be okay. And I think that's one of the reasons why even if it seems like don't do much, there's so like people still want them there. It's a symbol of stability, but also I think very important is because they have influence. They can use that. They use that influence for issues. The environment, of course, is one of the most important, and I think King Charles is very much involved with environmental issues, and his son too.
Pero Professor, tingin niyo ba mas si Elizabeth, mas greatest queen kaysa kay Victoria?
Oh my gosh.
Ikaw ha, mga tanong mo, mahirap
Kasi
yan.
si Victoria,
Expanded the empire.
hindi lang yun, kasi kamag-anak niya yung Russian monarch,
Yeah.
German monarch.
Yeah.
Halos lahat ng monarch sa Europe, apo niya, tsaka di ba?
Yeah, true. Good. That actually, I never thought about that. But I think it's hard to compare, but yeah, it's hard to compare because it's different times. When Queen Elizabeth II became queen, there was no more empire. So whereas Queen Victoria was the the number one queen of, say, the empire. Queen Elizabeth is the queen of the Commonwealth, which is post-empire, and so what the queen does is different already. But I think they both have strengths, and the main strength that they both have was their ability to connect to people. So remember I think the concept of majesty, right? We're up there where you can reach us. You can come see me. You can I will sometimes we're standing right next to each other. I will talk to you. So they both did that very well, and that's one of the reasons why people love both of them, actually.
Tsaka si Victoria, mahaba din yung kanyang
Long
reign.
reign,
No?
yeah. She was the longest reign before Queen Elizabeth, actually.
64 years. No?
Yeah. Also long, my gosh.
Interesting.
Pero may isa akong tanong kay Professor. No? Kasi there was a time in our history na there was the British occupied Manila for
True.
20 months. No? Kung nagtuloy-tuloy yun, Prof, ano tingin mo magiging implication? Hindi na tayo sinakop ng pano.
Actually,
Wala na si Jose Rizal.
Yeah. Well, Jose Rizal would probably go to Oxford or Cambridge instead. that one, and also we can actually that would be interesting, because when we have some countries around us where we can see the comparison. So the British colonized Malaysia or Singapore, so we would be like that, I suppose, right? It would be a little. We can see what the British did for Malaysia and Singapore. Maybe we would be like that.
Professor Enverga, I hope you don't mind. Maggagap lang po muna kami. Maghanap buhay lang po saglit. I hope you can stay with us. Even short gap lamang po. Right? Okay, tuloy pa rin po natin. Di pa, magbabalik pa tayo. Magbabalik po ang Wag Po. Matapos po ang ilang paalala, wag po kayong aalis na lamang po.
Maghanda na ng mahiwagang apple juice at makitambay sa mga yotis.
Alright, nagbabalik po ang programang Wag Po. Ayan, ako po si Lord de Vera. Siya po ang Pulitzer Prize winner na si Manny Mogato, ang natatanging humihinga na Filipino Pulitzer Prize winner. At kasama pa rin po natin na tinutulungan po tayong himayin itong pangyayaring ito, na ang pagpanaw po ni Queen Elizabeth II na si Professor Manuel Enverga III ng Ateneo de Manila University. Yan, sir. Magandang gabi, Prof. Andyan pa rin po kayo sana. Yan.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Ayan. Okay. Nung nagbe-break tayo, pinapakita natin sa graphics natin ang line of succession na tinatawag. Okay. Professor, pakita natin yung graphics, ano?
Graphics,
Kung okay lang. Tito Moe. Opo.
Yan.
Yan.
Si King Charles.
Okay, after King Charles III,
Si Prince William.
si Prince William. At sunod dito, of course, mga
Yung anak ni Prince William, si Prince George. Yung kanyang anak na babae, si Princess Charlotte. At ang bunso na si Prince Louis.
Okay.
At ang kapatid, sunod.
Panglima.
Panglima, si Harry.
So si Harry, kung pumanaw ang tatay niya, kailangan niya pumatay pa ng 5 tao.
Oo.
Parang gano'n, ano?
Oo.
Ano lang ang pwedeng, okay, maliban sa homicidal siguro designs, ano ang pwedeng mag-alter nitong line of succession na ito, Professor?
I think the one that everyone's talking about now is the abdication. That's the other option. So that's possible naman. There is a precedent for that happening. But at the moment, I think the agreement is King Charles will be king. So he will be there first. I think this line of succession will not change in the meantime unless he decides to abdicate. For sure, I don't think he will be able to have 70 years on the throne like his mom because 70
Tanda na
plus.
si ano eh. Oh. 74 na siya, di ba?
Yeah, or 73, something like that.
Oo, ang tindi. Okay, ang susunod din si Prince William ay, masasabi ba natin, Professor, relatively mas mababa or halos walang kasing controversial na mancha or stain kagaya ng
Mas
tatay
acceptable.
niya. Si Harry medyo ano pa eh, no? Medyo ano?
Tumuchonggi yan.
Hindi ko naman. Sa PDEA po, alam ko po yung address niya, no? Pero ano po yung ano? Kunyari, si William bilang mag-inherit. Sa ano pong palagay po ninyo, sir?
I think, well, Prince William has less.
Ako,
Nag-freeze.
nag-freeze.
Less, ano kaya yun?
Less controversy.
Oo, hindi naman siguro pag nakita mo yung...
Tsaka maganda yung asawa ni Prince William.
Sino ba hindi maganda asawa?
Ewan ko. Meron siguro.
Ayan, tinatry pa rin po natin, ayusin lang po no, ang koneksyon ni Professor Enverga. Parang less siguro. Ayan, no, World Economic Forum, mga ganyan usapan. May kanya-kanyang advocacy rin kasi itong mga prinsipeng ito. Di ba?
Kailangan. Kailangan may advokasya.
Otherwise, kasi pinapasweldo ka ng ano.
Wala kang ginagawa. Pero nung kabataan nila, nag-serve sa military.
Mismo.
Yan si William tsaka si Harry, nagpunta sa Afghanistan niya.
Mismo.
At yung tatay nila, ewan ko kung
Navy.
sumaban sa Falklands.
At ano siya, Navy Commander siya. Parang sino? Si James Bond.
Oo. Lieutenant Commander.
Okay, kasama po natin ulit. Are you there, Professor Enverga? Salamat.
I think so. Hello?
Yun.
I'm back. Sorry.
Yun.
I'm not sure what happened, but
Opo.
I'm back.
Baka yung China ay ano, no? Nako, paano to, kunyari, Professor Enverga? Noong 2015, nung pumunta si Xi Jinping sa London, nagkaroon ng banquet para sa kanya, no? Si Prince Charles noon ay very publicly ay binoycott.
Oo.
So makikita mo sa Hong Kong daw, walang half-mast, walang ano. Bagamat alam natin na wala siyang kapangyarihan na hard, no, na konkreto, ano kaya ang posibleng maging consequence nito para sa geopolitics?
Yeah, actually, I think it depends also if the Chinese, if Xi Jinping is willing to forgive that. But there are some politicians who don't look naman at the person; they look at the office. So whenever you visit another country on a state visit, an official visit, you have to you will have to visit the head of state, which in this
courtesy.
case. So maybe the compromise will be it will be a short visit. It won't be a long visit, or it will just be a handshake and that's the end. So there are ways naman to adjust.
Professor, tingin niyo ba nagpaabot na ng condolence si Xi Jinping? Kasi alam ko si Putin nagpaabot na ng condolence.
That's I actually don't know, but I hope he does for the sake of goodwill.
Leader for life din si Putin. Tandaan mo yan, Tito Manny.
Okay,
balik.
si Xi Jinping. Papalitan na yung kanyang...
Sorry, si Xi Jinping pala.
Xi Jinping. Papalitan
Ngayon ba sa tingin mo, Professor Enverga, ang abdication ay bad word pa rin para sa British public?
I think it's not. I think there's actually people who are discussing na Charles should abdicate because of the controversies behind him. Before we got cut off, I think I was saying na
Si William.
Prince William is less less controversial, but based on the polls that I've read, the approval rating of William is not much higher than King Charles. So yeah, it's surprising. It was surprising to me also because I mean, Prince William has has a cleaner background. And also he's the son of Princess Diana, the Lady Diana, the former Princess of Wales. So he has a lot of popularity potential, but the approval rating is not far. Prince William is higher by maybe 3 or 4%.
Kasi Prince Harry.
Prince Harry is lower.
Oh, no.
Grabe.
Kasi controversial din si Prince Harry.
Oo. Okay. Ano kaya yung, Professor, no? Yung significance ng Balmoral daw, the fact that the Queen actually died sa Balmoral Castle, may implication daw ito sa Scotland.
Kasi gusto ng independence eh.
Yeah, actually, they do want independence for a long time. Technically, when we say Great Britain kasi is made up of England,
Yes.
Scotland, and Wales. So before, those used to be separate countries, and then suddenly the English took over Wales first, and then Scotland. There's two implications actually for this. One is that Balmoral is the royal residence it's the royal residence in Scotland, but it's significant because Queen Elizabeth II is, I believe, the first queen with actual Scottish royal blood in her. So she's the first queen to have Scottish royal blood. Before it was just other lines. Because the family tree is a little bit complicated, but she's the first one to have Scottish royal blood. So that's number one. And the second one is Balmoral is her favorite. It's her favorite residence. So it's where she went when her husband Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, died. That's where she went to grieve. And it's her favorite residence. So it's significant na that's also where she happened to pass away.
Kumbaga, happy place niya yun.
Yun, oo.
Oo.
Yeah.
Doon siya nagtatampisaw sa putik at namamaril ng mga usa. Okay.
Kasi countryside yun eh. Countryside yung Balmoral.
Sa tingin mo na Balmoral, parang hindi na siguro na Balmoral test, Professor Enverga, itong bagong Prime Minister na si Liz Truss.
Sorry, come again?
Parang hindi na siya she never underwent the so-called Balmoral
yes, the
test.
Balmoral test.
Oo.
I think there's still time. Maybe. She's still new. There's still time.
Biro mo, na-appoint siya days ago lang.
2 days ago.
Oo, 2 days ago.
Oo.
The last video I think of the Queen was of her meeting Liz Truss.
Oo. Pero may shock pa rin sila, no?
Oo.
At age 96. As if...
Well, dapat expected na yun.
pero shock pa rin sila talaga. Oo. Pero hindi mo naman pwede sabihin na, ayun na nga. Si Enrile lang naman ang nagde-defy talaga ng ano eh.
Pero, Professor, nung namatay si Princess Diana, alam ko maraming nakirami sa Pilipinas. Mayroon pang flowers offering sa embassy. Ngayon parang wala akong nakitang ganun.
Actually, me also. I don't know why, pero I think in my case I want to go. It's Friday and it's traffic, so maybe I'll go tomorrow.
Oo, sa embassy.
Embassy, oh.
Sila, President Marcos kasi, dumiretso daw sa ambassador's residence. Hindi naman pinapasok yung press. So, doon daw sila sabi ito sa embassy. May note, may book na ata na
Condolence. Pero kasi
total, may nabanggit na tayong apelido, Tito Manny, Professor. Totoo ba yung kwento doon sa pinaalis daw yung tiara sa isang event daw? Pero may dalawang accounts eh. Isa daw sa may Sydney Opera House. Nandun daw yung reyna. nandun naman si Badam na nakatiara daw.
Tiara din, oo.
Isang kwento naman, so pinapatanggal kasi ang reyna lang daw pwede magkabit ng tiara. Cartier, para daw. Isa naman daw, ano raw yun?
Yung sa Miss Universe.
Hindi, yung taga siya. Ng Iran, Persia. Ano bang, may kumpirmasyon ba kayo sa mga kwentong ito, Professor?
Personally, no. I know both stories, pero
Sa TV
I'm
lang yun.
not sure which one is true.
Hindi, nasa ano yun, aklat ni... Opo. Ayan. Opo. So, interesting ang mangyayari. We are entering... okay, we just ended so-called the second Elizabethan age or the modern Elizabethan
Yung
age.
first Elizabeth nung panahon ni Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Ayan. At interesting na abangan anong mangyayari dito, Professor Enverga.
I
Is
agree.
it the end of the monarchy? Yan.
Law of averages. Ganun. Mag-implode. Hindi, oo. Hindi, tingin ko, meron ka bang masasite na example as a way of siguro closing the discussion, Professor, ng mga European nations na na-dismantle ang monarkiya through non-violent revolutionary means na nag-prosper?
Well, the one that I can think of actually, the examples I have are where the country was invaded. So I don't know if it counts. It was invaded. So the monarchs went into exile, and then when they came back, they weren't allowed to be monarchs anymore. The government became a republic or something like that.
Parang France.
Yeah, or actually, I think of so in Austria, that's also what happened. So the last Habsburg, or the son of the last Habsburg emperor, he came back and he became a politician. So instead of inheriting the throne, because there was no more emperor. So
Meron pang
he came-
isang controversial, yung Spain, na demanda
yes.
pa ng corruption.
True.
Yung mga Kastilang yan talaga. Professor, meron ho ba kayong page or any social media platform na ang mga nanonood po sa atin, lalo sa mga bata na interesado po sa European studies ay maaari kayong sundan?
Actually, I have a podcast called the Eurospeak podcast. So
Yun.
if you're interested, if anyone's interested in hearing about how Europe impacts us around the world,
Yan.
even if we're not in Europe, that's where to find it.
Correct. Alright. Salamat
Salamat
po sa
po,
oras ninyo, Professor
Professor
Manuel
Enverga.
Enverga III. Salamat po. Sana makausap po namin kayo ulit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salamat po.
Mula po sa Departamento ng European Studies ng Ateneo de Manila University.
Pero in-expect ko, Lord, masyadong magarbo ang funeral.
Bakit naman hindi?
Oo, nung namatay yung asawa niya, nakita mo yung pomp and pageantry.
Matagal,
Oo, siguro ito, mas lalo.
May mga... Ngayon pa nga lang Sa labas sa loob ng Balmoral, may mga bula-bulaklak na. In the dead of night. Tandaan mo yan.
Tsaka
At ang The Independent ay may nakatutok na camera doon sa gate. Prince Manny. Prince Manny
Bati
Mogato. Ayan. Oras na para sa ating
Babati.
Tito, pabati po. Alam mo, secretly, feeling ko, yung dugo natin, mahilig tayo sa monarkiya di ba? Pero
Kaya
tayong...
King Marcos.
Easy, di ganun. King of Philippine Movies.
Ayan,
Diba?
Fernando Po Jr.
Queen of all media.
Ayan.
King of comedy.
Oo.
Diba? May mahilig tayo sa mga ganyan
Ito toong King Marcos. King na.
Lapit na yun.
Oo.
Okay, isang masarap na pagbati na lang sa mga to. Okay, bati
Hindi
na
na
masarap. Concepcion Dagon, Jet Arcega, kay V. Carr, ganda na pangalan mo, Jonathan Corpus, and of course, Owen Sayaman.
At Alan Mindanya. Tigasan ka!
Ay,
Si Diomedes Ibiota ng Bern,
Ayun, oh.
Switzerland to. Si Ami Capistrano ng San Mateo Rizal. Si Russell Ray Bermejo ng Taytay Rizal. Arthur Abayo ng Antipolo at si Tito Mel ng Surftown, LU.
yun. Sarap
Alam mo yung
naman
Taytay
siya,
Rizal?
Mel.
Diyan nagpunta yung mga Indian.
Sepoy.
Sepoy. Oo.
Sepoy. So, dyan ba galing ang kare-kare? Na
Pwede.
tinatawag?
Oo. Kay
Bakit-
Inta, tsaka...
Bakit wala
kay-
tayong traces ng mga pagkain nila?
Hindi ko alam. Kasi sa Kapampangan, ano yun sila, di ba? Marami na sa Kapampangan eh. Bapanga. Yung naiwang sundalo ng Britanya.
Ito, Ron Francisco. Hindi ko alam sinasabi mo, Olympics ang nakasulat doon sa video.
Oo,
Ano yun?
Olympics.
Ano yung sinasabi?
Yung sa ano mo kanina. Sa... Yung kanina. Yung ano mo.
Hindi, sinasabi ni Ron.
History.
Oh. Olympics naman talaga yun, ba? 2012.
Hindi. Mali spelling. Oo.
Olympics.
Oo.
Ay, hindi ko nakasalanan
Oo,
yan.
yun.
Okay. Ika nga ng mga Kapampangan, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Kay Godo Pascual.
Yan, happy birthday.
Happy birthday po sa inyo. At Miro Abala.
At Renato Tranquilino.
Ito. Ba, sinasagot tayo ni Miro Abala. Dapat yata sa susunod siya na rin kapanamay natin.
Yun.
Oo. Okay.
Gusto ko gabi-gabi.
Ay, oo.
Si Jay Cesbales. Si Jergab ng Tigayukay. Tigayukay yan, si Jergab. Kevin Pagalan, Gigi Yunson at si Joey Sat.
Ayan. Sabi ni Miro, Greece, Italy po ay pinagbotohan para tapusin na po ang monarkiya via referendum. Portugal din po, ang huling hari po mismo, hinayaan na po ma-expire ang bloodline. Yan ang akala ninyo.
Babalik sila.
Okay, gusto nila gabi-gabi. Sige, kung mga 30 minutes, okay, ayan pala eh. Giancarlo Gutierrez, pabati po ng happy 4th Mansari sa amin ni Rosemary Refuerzo Gaguhas.
Yan. oo.
Baka Gajuhas.
Yeah. Binabati ko si Joner Morena sa Jollibee.
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 Yun yung trono mo yun, di ba? Doon ka talaga nag-iwan ng corona.
Corona. Iwan.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Hindi ka nga ng isang kasabihan. No?
Ano yan?
Naririnig ko si Jerwin na naninigaw doon sa dulo eh.
Oo.
Jerwin, palakasan mo na lang yung volume ng controller mo. Hindi mo kailangan sumigaw kasi hindi ka rin maririnig sa taas. Okay? Yan. So ngayon
Okay.
ay Biyernes.
Shabu.
Salamat, Jesus.
At Biyernes ulit.
Okay.
Sana ng linggo, natapos.
Biruin mo, tapos na yun.
Oo.
Pero hindi kaya nadali si Queen Elizabeth. Kasi may mga pumunta doon sa British Ambassador's Residence
Ay, pwede.
nung Jubilee
Oo,
celebration.
oo. Kinain lang pisit
Queen's
chips.
Day.
Oo.
At minalas.
Oo, nag-uwi pa ata eh.
Sigurado ako, hindi si Tito Ronald yun.
Oo.
Kasi swerte si Tito Ronald. Okay, Moe. Dito ka na lang. Magluksa tayo dahil wala. Dapat ngayon ay 2 Viva Max Babes ang mga kasama natin. Pero dahil
Biglang
pinag-usapan
namatay.
natin, ano masasabi mo dyan, Moe?
May next week pa.
Ayun.
Gusto mo?
Talagang
Isang buong linggo next week, puro Viva Max.
Mag-live guest kayo sa amin.
Dapat live.
Live. Kung ayaw nila live, tayo pupunta doon sa kanila. Ano masabi mo dyan?
Patay tayo kay Voices.
Hindi, ay re-record natin. Kahit cellphone lang.
Pwede.
Okay, tapusin na po natin to. Salamat po sa mga patoka. Ika nga ng mga boys. Kapag ganito po, katok-patoka.
Walang pizza, tsaka hopya.
Kasi si Jovi ay walang blind item.
Ayan, oo.
Alright. At dyan na naman po nagtatapos. Sana po may mga napulot po kayo kahit kaunti lamang. Kahit kaunti lang. Ikaw yung napulot ka. O masama talaga yung loob mo, hindi ka makakonsentrate.
Hindi ako nakapag-concentrate.
Okay, naiintindihan kita. Ito po ang programang Wag Po. Lourdes Vera, Moe
Carpio.
at ang hari po ng trono na nandun sa Jollibee na ngayon. Lakas yun, ha?
Oo, lakas.
Oo. Panginoon, pagdasal mo kami.
Panginoon,
Tayo dyan.
Meron ba tayo dyan? Alright. Okay, ikaw na magpaalam sa kanila, Tito Manny.
Magandang gabi po. Salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay at kita tayo next week.